are back again. We're going into training camp. I'm in an excited mood. How are you doing out there? It's good to be here again with you. We took a few weeks off, and now here we are. We land right on episode 122 of Green Beans Jets Pod, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I've had a lot of time to kind of fashion my real opinion. You know, you stay in the thick of it. You just get inundated. You can't help but feel this way or that way. All these articles and videos and tweets, all this stuff comes out. You remove yourself for just a moment, and then you re-look back and you're like, wait a cotton picking minute. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got Quinnen Williams. We got Sauce Gardner. We got Garrett Wilson. We got Breece Hall. We got all these guys that we never get to have. And I'm excited. And you should be too. I hope you're not hung up on some 2020 draft pick not fleshing out just yet. Or maybe the quarterback's a little older than you want. Or what happened to Zach Wilson. Don't get caught in the weeds. That's my 2 cents on the matter anyway. That's my 2 cents. I don't want to get stuck in the weeds. You ever heard that term? You can't see the beauty of the forest through all the trees. You know what I mean? Look at all these trees. I can't see anything. Well, that kind of is what's going on. That's what's so good about this joint. That sort of thing. The Jets are turning a corner. We're going to get into just why it is an actual fact. There is data now to support the idea that this corner turning thing is actually real. We'll talk about that in today's Intelligent Gripe. We also have a whole bunch of news about Sauce Gardner. We have him defending himself out there. We have him on a podcast talking really accelerated, mature type of things out there. We have all kinds of fun stuff to get into. Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, offensive line. We're going to break it all down in episode 122. Guys, again, thank you for checking in. If you're out there on the audio side, I want to thank you as well. I had a few people say, what the hell, man? What's going on? My ride to work. Where are you? This is baloney. I'm sorry to you guys. And so here we are. We're back in the thick of it. This is training camp season. Guys, we have the Hall of Fame game coming up. We have the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which, interestingly enough, has something to do with us this year. Isn't that incredible? Isn't that an incredible thing? We really never get to pay. I mean, I pay attention every year anyway. There's players I remember loving. Most recently, we had some Kevin Mawai. We had some Alan Faneca. Ed Reed mentioned the Jets. He was here for 15 minutes, so he said hello. You know, stuff like that. But Revis and Klecko going in there, these are different, right? Revis being a first ballot Hall of Famer. He left for a minute, but not on his own devices. We traded him. You got to remember that. So we sent him away. He ended up coming back, ending his career here for a few years. Joe Klecko was here pretty much his whole career. Last year, he went to, I think it was the Rams, and that was whatever it was. But he's a Jet. Everybody knows he's a Jet, and it's a long time coming. So we get like two sides. One guy's a first ballot. The other guy we've been screaming and yelling about for decades, trying to get him in there, and he's in there. Now there are documentaries coming out about how great he is. Good for Joe Klecko. Up until this point, he was really strictly ours. He was just a guy that we were yelling about. Who's this guy, Joe Klecko? Most people, they'd never heard of him because the Jets sucked back when he was a dominant member of the New York Stock Exchange. And it's a shame. We have all kinds of players like that. We'll keep it to Joe Klecko for now because he's the one getting in, and we'll do just that. But it's an amazing thing. So we have all this exciting stuff. It's right around the corner. Training camp July 19th, then August 3rd, I think it is, the Hall of Fame game, the induction ceremony, and that goes right into more training camp. We got Hard Knocks. We did all that. We still have one Jets drive. They're like, we're not going anywhere just because Hard Knocks is coming here. So we're going to get slammed with all sorts of amazing Jets stuff, and we're going to be right here talking about it, dissecting it from the fan perspective. Everybody's an expert these days. We're fans, and the truth is, up to this point, expert or not, we know more than everybody. That's my take. That's my take on it, man. We've been right so many times where the Jets and the pundits and everybody's been wrong. We know the deal. We've been researching this team, studying them, paying attention on a level that's not really always healthy, right? We've been doing that, and we're going to be here talking about the whole thing. I do want to break away just for a second and remind you guys about the milk thumbs. Yay! Let's get some milk thumbs going. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It helps the channel greatly. If you have not subscribed to the channel, now is the perfect time. It's a little tiny rectangular red button. It's so easy to see. It's so easy to do. Just click it, boop, you're done, and it helps the channel a great deal. So if you haven't, consider it, huh? What are you going to do? Why not? What are you doing? Go ahead, hit that subscribe, hit the thumbs up. It helps the channel. And I want to talk to you guys briefly about something else that I got into. I shared this on the Thursday thick of it. There is something out there I've been dealing with, and I decided to share it with you guys. I go to the doctor, get my testosterone checked, and they tell me I'm normal. But I've lost a lot of what I want. I feel it. Now I go to a specialist. They say there's all kinds of things you can do with your T levels that the doctor's not going to do because insurance isn't going to cover it because I'm in the normal range. But guess what? Those guys cost $300-$500 a month to get all that going. And that's a little bit more than I want to do. It's a little bit more than I want to pay. So I did all this research on testosterone boosters. I have one for you. It is a testosterone booster called Testosil. I'm using it now. I already feel the difference. Guys, I'm putting the link right in the top of the description. If you are interested, you will get 10% off by clicking that link. And guys, if you don't like it, you get your money back. You can just send them the bottle back if you don't like it. It's all the top testosterone boosting stuff. Ashwagandha up top. It's an extract that they've refined and kind of amplified the potency a little bit in there. Do all the research. Don't just get into something because I say it. Look at the product. Do the research. Read reviews. Look at the science. All that sort of stuff. Get 10% off if you're interested. I love it. I think it's the best thing going. It's one of the only all-natural testosterone boosters out there. The brand is Testosil. The link is in the description. Save yourself 10% and avoid paying all these crazy-ass fees for testosterone and testosterone boosters and all that jazz. Get back in the gym. Get your life back. That's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Guys start losing their testosterone when they're in their early 20s. That's crazy. You don't have to anymore. There you go. Take a look. See for yourself. If you don't like it, money back guarantee. Testosil, everybody. So, guys, we're going to get right into this. We're going to start with this week's player profile, episode 122. Do we know who number 22 is on the Jets roster for 2023? Now, we're assuming he's going to be there. Just a few weeks ago, we thought he was going to be our starter. Doesn't look like that's the case right about now, but we know that the Jets love him, and that is one Tony Adams wearing the number 22. Now, what do we know about Tony Adams? Well, he's a young guy. He plays safety. Jets like him, right? It's hard to know a whole bunch. What we really do know is that the Jets exposed a player that we were kind of feeling pretty good about to the waiver wire to protect Tony Adams. We lost that player. His name was Jason Pinnock. We lost that player. He went on to the New York Giants and had himself some NFL-level success. He's their starting free safety, and we're not happy about it. So Tony Adams, it's not that he's in direct competition with Pinnock. At the same time, as far as from the fan perspective, we're like, hey, buddy, this needs to work out now. Now, the Jets, they brought in Clark, who now has season-ending knee surgery, unfortunately. We have Jordan Whitehead, and we assumed that Tony Adams was going to end up filling the role at free safety. They just kind of dragged their feet on bringing anybody else in. We didn't see anything happening in the future. Out of nowhere, they bring in Adrian Amos from the Green Bay Packers, and it looks like he's more than likely going to end up being the starter next to Jordan Whitehead, and that pushes Tony Adams back a little bit. But it doesn't mean that the Jets don't like him. Maybe he's not ready. Maybe they just want to make sure, all those things. A lot of Jets fans, that was really one of our number one concerns. Well, what is Tony Adams? He's going into his second year. He was an undrafted free agent out of Illinois. He's 6 foot tall. He's 205 pounds. He's got a total of 17 tackles, 10 of which are solo tackles. So it's not really a whole bunch to look at. He's looked good when he's on the field, but it's been an extremely limited basis. He did play in 11 games. He's played more on the special team side. He played 43% of the special team snaps last year. So there's that. I guess they like him there. Boyer probably likes him. He's an athletic guy, hard work and all that. But we know Saleh and Ulbricht really like this guy. His playing time will more than likely increase somewhat this year as far as the defense is concerned. But they brought in Amos, so now we don't have to depend on an undrafted free agent just a little bit ago for the Aaron Rodgers season, right? We don't know what this is going to be. We don't want to take any chances if we can avoid it, man. So now they brought in a little bit of insurance, and we have Tony Adams a little bit on the back burner, we can call it, and there it is. So, hey, look, we know the Jets love him. He's a young guy. He's got all the potential in the world. We don't know what that will amount to. We've seen potential before. But Tony Adams is our player profile of the week. He's going to be interesting to watch in training camp. We'll probably see a lot of him in the preseason games. They're not going to be exposing their starters to all that much playing time, I would imagine. So we'll see some Tony Adams, and we'll get to see what he looks like. And there he is, the player profile of episode 122, Tony Adams, the safety from Illinois. So let's dive right in now to the news, right? We have all kinds of fun stuff to talk about. We got sauce on numerous levels. Got some Quinnen, right? Small news about Quinnen Williams. And let's get into that in this week's News of the Week. So how do we start with anything except the news that we've been waiting for? It was that last lingering thing, the big thing that's lingering anyway. We're talking about which free agents we were going to bring in. And a lot of people were like, dude, I don't care. I just want our guy signed. Our guy being Quinnen Williams. That's the guy we signed. The Jets just gave him the second highest paid defensive tackle contract in the NFL. 4 years, $96 million, $66 million of which are guaranteed, an average of about $24 million a year. So earlier, toward the end of the season, earlier in the offseason, we were talking about 19, 20, 21 million. Then it was like 30 million, holy macaroni. And it settled back down to $24 million, a little bit over what Jeffrey Simmons got, average of $23.5 million. Got about $6 million more guaranteed as well. So he's not up there with the Aaron Donald situation, of course. Aaron Donald signing a 3-year, $95 million contract. But this isn't bad. And the interesting thing about it is that we finally get to sign a friggin' New York Jets draft pick. We haven't done that since 2011. Now, we'll talk more about Quinnen Williams in the Intelligent Gripe, but I'm going to just say this. I wasn't necessarily worried, but I wasn't necessarily happy either. You know what I'm saying? You can be both. You can be in there. You don't have to be like, if you're this, you're not that. If you're not this, that means you're this. I wasn't worried, but I wasn't psyched about it. You see what I'm saying? You see how that works? So I was happy as a pig in slop. Ooh, I caught myself. A pig in slop when the news finally broke that Quinnen Williams was finally re-signed. Now he gets to start training camp with everybody. That was really the focus. We've seen guys drag into training camp, particularly starters, drag into training camp, and they end up not being in football shape. We were concerned about that. We wanted them to start, and now him and Will McDonald can start saying hello. He hasn't been there since Will McDonald's been on the team, so that'll be nice. We'll talk more about Quinnen later. But now I'm going to get a jersey. And I'm going to tell you this, man. What bunch of crap. You go to the Jets side. I want to buy it from the Jets side. I want to support. I want to show. I'm happy. You see what I mean? There's a thing. I don't buy stuff when I'm not happy. I don't give the Jets my money when I'm not happy. I wanted them to get rid of Gase. They did. I went to the Jets shop and I bought some stuff. I wasn't buying it. I'm not supporting Gase. I don't want it. I don't like this McCagnon Gase thing. I don't like it. So I'm not going to support it. I like this move. I like what the Jets have been doing. I'm going to buy a Jets jersey from the Jets shop if I can. But check it out. They only have the black jersey for sale, which is not the one I wanted. I wanted to get a white Quinnen Williams jersey. The black ones, they only have small and triple X. Small and triple X. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? Either I wear a smock, because I'm not that large, or I got to wear a little tiny baby suit. One or the other. I don't know what to do. But there's no white one and no green one available on the Jet. I don't know what the story is over there. I mean, in my opinion, maybe you should have started the production. You knew it would. Get it going. I want to get a Jets jersey from the Jet shop. Sure, I can go to these other sites, DHgate. I have no problem with them. I'm not giving them my money this time. I'm going to the Jets shop. And unless they never have it, in which case I can't buy it. Get it out there, Jets. You get my money. You go ahead. You'll get my money, and I'll help give Quinnen Williams contract my little tiny penny on the top. Here you go. A little penny back. That's from me. From good old Green Bean. So let's talk about Sauce Gardner, huh? Sauce Gardner, as we know, was attacked out there from a former cornerback, Asante Samuel, a former NFL Super Bowl champion cornerback, Asante Samuel. He doesn't like Sauce. He thinks that the New York media is pumping Sauce up. They're creating a myth. This is a big fantasy. He's not even that good, this guy. He's sure he's okay, but it's the myth of New York. Now, Asante Samuel clearly has not been paying attention. Again, I've said this many, many times. The reason that I even created this channel in the first place, originally, way back when it first started, was because we couldn't seem to get just constructive Jets opinion. Not always homer, positive, fluffy rainbows and stuff, but just actual construct. It always was negative. The Jets seem to get more negative press from being in New York than anything else. Now, in fairness, we haven't had many really, really good teams to talk about, but still, why are we cutting these guys out at the knees, man? Why are we pulling the rug out from under their feet before they even get started? Let's give them a chance, maybe even work on fluffing them up. Asante Samuel sees it backwards because he's ass backwards. Revis gets in the mix, starts defending Sauce Gardner. They get into a pissing match about who's better, and Revis flat out says, hey, man, I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer, in response to Asante Samuel saying, check the history books. Check the history books. He's a first ballot I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. What are you talking about? His history's still happening too, buddy. So it was an interesting thing to see, especially after the Revis Klecko thing via our good buddy Jake Assman on the Jake Assman show. The Klecko and Revis, there was kind of a little thing, who was better, and some text message baloney. Revis comes back into the fray, I think wisely, by the way, defending a current Jet young buck, stud, first team All-Pro, rookie of the year on the defensive side of the ball. And it was nice to see. It's like, boy, it gives a little bit of warm fuzzies, right? So on the heels of that, Sauce Gardner does an interview on the Pivot podcast. And he's asked about this comparisons, all these comparisons to other cornerbacks out there. Oh, he's the next this, or he's better than this, or worse than that. Sauce Gardner had a very, very mature take on the whole thing. I'm not sure if you guys saw it yet. If you didn't, here it is. Sauce Gardner was asked about Tariq Woolen. There's a lot of comparisons between Tariq Woolen. There's an argument to be made that Tariq Woolen was actually the defensive rookie of the year. If you look at certain stat metrics, if you do, you can find an argument for that. When you look at the whole picture, it's really not that close of a comparison, but there are metrics, particularly interceptions, right? Very important intercept. We don't want to minimize that. And when you look at that, Tariq Woolen had it over Sauce Gardner. So there are people out there, Asante Samuel joins the club, thinking that Tariq Woolen should have won the award. So they ask him about this, and this is what he says. This is beautiful. If you haven't heard this, check this out. So they bring up a moment where Sauce Gardner actually had a conversation with Tariq Woolen. So this is the thing. We forget that they're human beings. They're not just in our little pocket and we talk about them and we talk about it. They actually talk to each other, right? So they're people. So Sauce Gardner is asked about this conversation with Tariq Woolen. And he says, I feel like if you want to be great, you got to do that. We were just talking about the secret sauce. I can't keep it all to myself. The secret sauce, this guy. He's so funny. I can't keep it all to myself. I got to instill it in other people. If I see Tariq, if he's got a habit of doing something that really not going to work for him, I'm probably not going to tell him mid-game because we're playing against each other. But after the game, I might be like, hey, bro, hit my jack so we could watch some film, talk this over. Now, I got to do some research and find out exactly what a jack is these days. A jack to me is when I got a flat tire. So hit my jack when it's not holding my car up. I think that's what they're talking about. Hit my jack. And we'll talk it over. Watch some film. He says, because if you want to be great, I feel like I'm doing somebody else a disservice by just knowing. If I could be telling him this, but nah, I ain't going to tell him this because I want to be better than him because I'm competing with him. Nah, that's not the case for me. We can all be great. There's enough space in this world for all of us to eat. Come on. Come on. Is that not just the perfect way for our cornerback to answer a question like that? Is it not music to your ears, whether they be 80-year-old ears or 19-year-old? Isn't it? This is what you want to see. Now, I don't really want, I'll tell you what, I'm a fan. I want Sauce to be better than everybody, right? I don't want other guys to be. I want him to be the best in the world the whole time he's here until he retires, go to the Hall of Fame. That's what I want. I'm a fan. But that is cool. And that's the way that it should be, man. These guys like that. I'm not in direct. When we're playing, of course, I want Garrett Wilson to burn Tariq Woolen's ass up and down the field. But, man, we're just dudes trying to be great in the NFL. If I got something and I see you can use it here, that's the stuff. Because look, man, there's a philosophy out there. You can't keep it unless you give it away. There's a philosophy out there, this hoarding thing, mine. It doesn't necessarily produce what you want all the time. You end up having all this stuff and then you're lonely because you can't share it because you're afraid they're going to take it. That kind of a thing. Sauce is out there spreading the love, or even more appropriately, spreading that secret sauce all over the joint. And I love it. I think it's amazing. Good for you, Sauce Gardner. And I think that's the kind of stuff that would support a man like him becoming and maintaining, remaining great. That's the attitude, and I love it. I applaud Sauce Gardner. Let's talk really quick about Quan Alexander, right? So Quan Alexander, lots and lots of Jets fans are still hoping Quan is brought back. Now, I'm a fan of Quan Alexander being brought back. I mean, he was very good for us last year. It looked to me like that whole, remember when we were like really struggling defending the screen pass? Remember that? Quan Alexander came in and it kind of stopped. So I think he was a big part of that. Maybe I'm overblowing his importance in the whole aspect of stopping the screen, but maybe not. It seemed that way. But the Jets, if you notice something, I'm out there and I look at all this stuff. Now, I happen to be a big supporter of Jamien Sherwood getting his shot. Being a part of the defense, being a part of the linebacking core, not just from a reserve standpoint. Now, I know he's a primary backup to C.J. Mosley, but he is versatile, and they can move these guys around, right? It's not a traditional 4-3 in many respects. We play big nickel a lot. There's all kinds of things, all kinds of alignments that they put forth. One linebacker, two linebackers, move a safety up into the linebacker position. They do all sorts of fun stuff like that. So, Jamien Sherwood has been on the team now. He's going into his third year. He's a Robert Saleh era Joe Douglas pick in the late rounds. He comes in. He's working hard. Saleh says some very positive things. In particular, he belongs. Those kinds of things. He's a converted safety from linebacker, so it's going to take a minute. He now puts on a little bit more weight, more muscle. When he's gotten his shot on the field, he's made every friggin' tackle. Like he doesn't come on and just fill space. He comes on and his impact is felt immediately. Here's what's interesting. Not only am I supporting this guy, I think Sherwood's ready to get his shot. The Jets, if you're paying attention, you'll notice a few things. He's getting some sound bites. He's getting articles written about him. And as I was perusing, looking for a friggin' white Quinnen Williams jersey on the Jets site, you know what I saw? I saw Jamien Sherwood. I'm just saying, man. I saw Jamien Sherwood's jersey on the site for sale. Jamien Sherwood. Now, it's not quite like the old days when they only had like 3, you know. It'd be like, Mo Lewis and whoever, I can't even think. I'm broken in the brain. Vinny Testaverde and, whatever. They have more. So they have like Conklin and they have AVT. So there's a little bit wider of a scope. So there's that. But he's a backup. They don't have many backup jerseys for sale. He's a late round pick, really mid-round pick backup linebacker. Why is his jersey on this site? His jersey's on the site. They put articles out about him, and he's getting more interview time. He's getting more camera time. He's getting sound bites. People are talking about him. What's going on with Jamien Sherwood? I'm going to tell you. I've been saying it for a minute, but I'm going to tell you now a little bit more of a firm stance. Jamien Sherwood has got the confidence of the Jets organization. And not saying Quan won't be brought back, but I'm saying that they don't feel that they need to because of Jamien Sherwood. And I'm telling you, he's going to get significantly more playing time this year, and we're going to fall in love with him. There it is. Jamien Sherwood is the guy. He's the man with the plan. And that is the news of the week. Turning the corner. Everybody wants to know if the Jets are turning the corner. Are we turning the corner? Or did we just spend a lot of money on big flashy names? What did we do? We've been here before. We brought in Ronnie Lott and Leonard Marshall and Boomer Esiason. How'd that work out for us? We've gone out there and paid big money for guys like Trumaine Johnson. How'd that work out for us? We've had high draft picks, Zach Wilson, whoever. So many. I can't even, Copels, Richards, whoever. How'd that work, right? So is this just one of those? Is it just an exciting bunch of blah? Or are we really turning the corner? Let's dissect that in this week's Intelligent Gripe. So let's start with Quinnen. Do you guys realize, I know you do, but rhetorically speaking, do you realize the Jets have not signed one of their own draft picks since 2011? It was Muhammad Wilkerson. But what else coincides with that era? We haven't signed a draft pick, one of our own, since 2011. Do you remember being good since 2011? Yes, we had 2015. We know that. How'd that work? We didn't even get into the playoffs. We had Fitzmagic turned to Fitztragic. The whole thing. It was a big lie. It was a big lie. We have been essentially the laughing stock of the NFL since 2011. Now, 2011, we didn't make the playoffs, but we were still a good team. Sanchez had his best year. We were 8-8. We didn't know we were crumbling to pieces yet, even though that was the worst damn offseason ever going into 2011. The Jets have sucked since then. Now, we've been here the whole time. We've been yelling. We've been screaming. We've been hoping. We've been watching the draft. We've been taking our notes. We've been dissecting things. It didn't matter. The Jets have been abysmal. Mike McCagnon, Adam Gase, Todd Bowles with his numerous offensive coordinators, all the stuff that we've endured. It just so happens Quinnen Williams puts a stamp, like a signpost. It's over. It's over. Now, we don't know what the future holds as far as signing draft pick. We don't know, but we have one right now. Right now, we have not done it since 2011. Well, why? Well, number one, we don't draft well, so there's that. Number two, maybe we're a little bit afraid. The last guy we gave money to turned out to be mean and ugly, and he sucked. So there's all kinds of negative threads in there. Quinnen Williams stops it. We did it. It's there. What about Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner? They are the reigning offensive and defensive rookies of the year. What about the fact, sure, we can talk about Joe Douglas's overall record win-losses, but we neglect to remember he was tearing this team down. He's firing head coaches. He's getting rid of quarterbacks and pillars, Jamal Adams, Leo Williams, Darren Lee, all the guys that had to go, Chris Herndon, all these guys that we put out front as pillars of the organization, they all had to go. But here's the sneaky little thing. While last year was devastatingly disappointing to end the season the way that we did, the end result is still, I'll do it this way, a slow and steady increase in wins. So we're just watching this team slowly but surely get better. Quinnen Williams, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, all these things. What about the Klecko thing? Why this year? Why now? First ballot Hall of Famer. How many of those do we get? I mean, there was Curtis Martin and Kevin Mawai in the recent past. But it's still not something we're used to. First ballot Hall of Famer, and then Klecko, who we have been yelling about for decades. This year, it all comes together in the same year that we happen to be good enough, strong enough of an organization to lure Aaron Rodgers to this is the only team he wants to play for? Where the hell does that? When do we ever hear something like that? The Jets get guys because we paid more. We heard it from numerous guys. C.J. Mosley. You know, Avery Williamson literally said, I was about to sign with the Titans, and the Jets swooped in at the last minute and gave me so much money I couldn't possibly turn it. I had to take it. That's how we did business. If we got anybody, it was because we paid more than anybody else. That's it. That's not happening. That's not happening anymore. All of those things are now put to the side, behind us. We get Hard Knocks. It just so happens the last time we were on Hard Knocks is the last year we made the playoffs, AFC Championship game. Now, that's not going to directly coincide, of course. There's no impact there. But it's interesting. It happens to be there. It just, we're not making it up. Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Klecko, Darrelle Revis, Hard Knocks. It's all part of a recipe, of the soup, of the stew. It's all the perfect ingredients. It's here. The NFL knows they gave us 75 games that are on prime time. We have no 1 o'clock games. What's going on? If you can't see the forest through the trees, take a step back and remind yourself, holy friggin' cow. If there's something called turning a corner, if that's real, it's happening right before my eyes. I better stop. I got to shake it loose. Whatever negative crap I'm bringing, I have to cut the crap because this is what it is. This is what turning the corner looks like. And that's the intelligent gripe. Woo! I'll tell you, I am excited going into this training camp, guys. We are going to be here every friggin' day. Live streams. Videos. We got the Talkin Jets panel ticket buy. I'm putting the link right below the Testosil link in the description. Come to the game with us. We're going to be tailgating with Tailgate Joe. We're going to be hanging out before the game. We have 2 incredible experiences. You know, like being in the tunnel when the players walk out and there's all those people banging on the glass. That's going to be us. We can do that. We got tickets. We're all going to sit together. It's going to be amazing. You can go. That's Monday night, November 6th. Against the San Diego LA Chargers. We're going to see that game together. Night game, prime time. We'll be there. You can get in on that now. There's limited tickets and they're selling. So if you want to do that with us, the link's in the description. You get a Talkin Jets t-shirt thrown in as well. I hope you guys can join us. Guys, that's our show for today. Don't forget about the testosterone booster. The link is in the description. The Talkin Jets ticket buy, it's all there. And everybody, if you haven't hit subscribe, please do. With that all said, have a great week, everybody. And as always, go Jets.